Well, my working relationship with Young Nebraskans in Action started back in the end of 2014. A former colleague of ours, former Senator Jeremy Nordquist, helped organize a meeting with Young Nebraskans in Action and a number of other community stakeholders around finding a way for the state of Nebraska to be able to move forward and provide driver's license to Dreamer youth. And that process took us through the 2015 legislative session, where I was able to work a little bit more hand in hand with YNA, Senator Nordquist, Senator McAllister, many other organizations and supporters to help get LB 623 passed into law last year over a gubernatorial veto.
I was pleased to participate in the legislative process for the DACA licensing bill and also the driver's license bill, which occurred a year ago. It's said that we have about 10,000 jobs available, and for us to use these young workers who are outstanding individuals is critical for the state to move forward.
The Young Nebraskans in Action started as a transition from what used to be a Dreamers Project Coalition, and that was formed of different organizations that came together after 2012 after Deferred Action passed, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. And ever since the transition, we've been working hard to find leaders who would be able to come together and work with the organizations and build relationships with public officials. The first thing was to pass driver's licenses for DACA recipients, and we were able to have a victory with that.
Many people see teenagers as not very active, they're just on their social medias and stuff, but we're working with our resources to make something better. So we're working together and getting with us, using our social media or communication skills to make a change with our stories or voices. YNA is gonna keep on being bigger, maybe more powerful, and full of new and different stories.
I got my license revoked as a pharmacy technician because I was a dreamer. In the beginning, I just thought I got lucky to get a pharmacy tech license, even if that I was a dreamer. But then I don't know what happened, they just sent me a letter saying that they were sorry for, that they gave me the license on accident. I wanted to help myself out, but others as well who were going through the same thing. So I got started, I came to a few meetings, I met everybody in the organization. They told me their stories, and that's when I realized that it's not just me that's suffering, it's other people as well.
When we started to learn about the different governments and the system itself, that's when we started to plan out like what we could do here in Nebraska, and of course tackling the driver's licenses was the first thing on our list. We were the last state to do it, so it was that what we wanted to accomplish first. With LB 947, I already had understood the process, the legislative process, and I started to become more involved with the elected officials themselves and started to hold relationships with them, and just learning about this whole public sphere and learning about the laws, learning about what we can do and what we cannot do.
Growing up, I used to think that you made a change in the world by being angry and protesting and marching, and what I've come to find out is that through Young Nebraskans in Action, I've been able to harness that anger and make a positive change through the legislative process here in Nebraska. And by being able to organize youth and being able to share our story, that's what I've learned. And one of the biggest takeaways was really harnessing the power that we have as individuals and using it collectively to make a change.
I'm proud of this young generation of young Nebraskans, that they were able to get together, to learn how to act in public together. They were able to understand that power is the capacity or the ability to act, and by talking with senators, by sharing their stories, by laughing at the unicameral, and by showing that they are human beings, that they are great human beings who wants to contribute to this country, to this state, that they were able to work with, among themselves, with many other organizations like Voice for Children, and they change. They passed, they helped to pass a bill that is not going to help just their generation, but is going to help the next generation of youth.
What I admire most about the Young Nebraskans in Action work over the past 2 years is the passion that they bring to every single meeting, every single discussion, to help influence not just me as a policymaker, but a number of other stakeholders and community partners to understand the real-world impact of the public policy choices that we were trying to change. YNA was at the forefront every single day trying to remind not just policymakers, but remind the community of how important it is to become engaged in civic life, to become engaged in government, and to help remind not just the policymakers, but the public at large how important it was for us to be able to provide DACA youth driver's license last year and commercial and professional licenses this year.
When it finally got the okay, all the senators just stood up and started clapping at us, and that felt really good.
The youth that I met were simply outstanding. Hardworking, industrious, well-spoken. I thought I was very impressed by what they told me and what their future plans were. And they're just the kinds of people we want in Nebraska.